playing it? There we go.
All right, all right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Best There Is show. I'm D Man Caramel, the best there is. It's your number one show for all the things keeping you surviving the wasteland. We got a great show for you coming up today. Today, with our special guest, Green Jake. Green Jake, thank you so much for coming in today.
I just want to say, whoa,
Whoa, I will
it's
take it.
it's pretty interesting being on this side of the camera for once.
Right? Now, typically, we usually have you directing this. So it's kind of weird seeing you specifically in that chair and not behind the camera right now. We actually have our placement director, Machina. Say hi, Machina.
Yeah, he's gonna kill it, man.
He's going to kill
Do a
it.
good job tonight.
He's doing great things. So, first of all, I would love to know, you know, how does it even feel being in the hot seat now opposed to being in the director's chair?
Fuck, I mean, it was bizarre just walking out behind the from my trailer. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, even when I got into the shelter, my first instinct was to jump into the director's chair. I was like, wait a minute, that's not what we're here for tonight.
Right? Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. Now, first of all, for the people who are at home who don't know you, can you please describe what your official title is within the VEF and what is it that you do?
Sure. So, on top of being Green Jake, I am the VEF's Chief Marketing Officer. Basically, what that entails is I am involved in a little bit of the back end side of production of content relating to the VEF, whether that's things that we film in game or things that we create out of game. Anything that, is not like a mission or a story that is otherwise created for the VEF and for you guys to enjoy, that's what we're working on.
So things exactly like this show that we're currently on, The Best There Is. Now, Green Jake, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory? Like, how did you get involved in Fallout? Were you one of the people who like watched the show and then you were like, oh man, I got to be a part of that world. Like, I want to be in Fallout. And then how did you get your start in the VEF specifically?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try to make a long story short, but bear with me if you go down a couple tangents here. But so way back in the year of our Lord 2015, I think is when I picked up Fallout New Vegas for the Xbox 360 for the first time. Had seen a couple of YouTube videos on it, thought it looked like a cool game. I like storytelling games, I like role play games. Why not? Give it a shot. Fell in love with it, pumped a couple hundred, close to 1,000, over 1,000 hours into it. Um, Fallout 4 came out, and say what you will about Fallout 4, but I loved more than anything. You know me, you can probably guess what I'm going to say next. The settlement building aspect of it. I loved it. It was something that I could get my creative juices, flowing and build something cool and look at and show people and be like, yo, check this cool stuff out I made. Um, so we all know Fallout 76 came out and it was at its, you know, it had its problems and its you know hate that it received, and that obviously drove me away from the Fallout series after I got bored of Fallout 4. Obviously went to college and life happens and you just play other games. But while I was in college, I started dating a girl long distance, and she asks, "Hey, I love Fallout too. Why not play Fallout 76 together?" So I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" So I download this game, taking a chance on this girl, and yeah, lo and behold, here we are 4 years later, both the girl and Fallout 76 and I. Yeah, this game was kind of how we kept not in contact, but it was just one more thing that we could enjoy together. So, uh, morally repugnant, aka Emily, whom I know is listening. Thank you for getting me into this game initially. So after playing the game for a while, I started getting a bunch of cool items and started trading them. And uh, met a trader. His name was Grotty Toenail. Some of you may know him now as Paladin Lord Grotty. And yeah, I hopped over to his story. Sorry, hopped over to his server one time, looking to trade, looking to get some cool items, and there's a woman there named, not the Elder Streak, but what was it? Just Paladin Streak, I think. Yeah, uh, yeah, little bitty wee Paladin Streak, and she took me in and took pity on me and said, "Oh, poor lonely soul in the wasteland who needs an awesome Brotherhood of Steel roleplay group to join." So yeah, that's how I ended up here.
That is beautiful. We definitely talked a little bit about like the weirdness of being in a role play group and like your thoughts of like first joining the VEF and how that personally affected you. But moving on past that, like what does the VEF mean to you now? Like how has it shifted or changed your life? Like how would your life be different without the VEF?
It's shifted a lot, and I think part of that has to do with the roles I've taken in the group and the leadership opportunities that it's provided. I think in those early days, what it was a sense of community. What it was, I mean, it obviously still is, but I would say it was, you know, I mean, that was what I was doing my free time. I was in between jobs when I first joined. Um, hadn't yet moved out of the parents' house, so I had a lot of free time, and um, the VEF was not only just somewhere I could go in my free time, but it was somewhere where I could meet people and make friends from all over and have 24/7 constant entertaining conversations. And so it was a really just a fun place for me to be and to you know I mean, up until this point, Emily was the only one I'd really played Fallout 76 with. We made a few friends across the wasteland here and there, and there was another group I was part of briefly, Mud's Militia. Shout out to them that they took me under their wing too, but they were nowhere near the scale and the scope and provided the content that the VEF did. So it was a lot of cool, super awesome content, like the patrols that we were being hosted. Everything that MedCore did. Oh, I soaked it up like a sponge. So it it didn't just hook me, it reeled me in. So as I got more involved and progressed through the ranks and gained more responsibilities, it became something of a responsibility to me that I wanted to provide newer members of the group and the people who have, never heard of the VEF before, to provide them an experience that they would love, that they would, feel the same way about joining that I did. Make them proud to, be a part of this thing.
I love it. Now, let's talk a little bit more and dive into how you started off in the VEF. Let's discuss a little bit about the medical corps. Now, you first got your start off in the medical corps. Like, why was that a huge thing for you?
I think it was just fun. It was just super entertaining, super fun. Like the people that I, got close to and met in the medical corps are probably still like my closest friends in this group today. Um, but beyond that, it was just the content that it provided. Being able to do like medical exams, I thought was really fun. That was a really great um, experience to you know be the first face that so many people come through these doors uh, see.
Now, can you tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about like your story? You kind of went into this in-depth story during our earlier discussions about the story of the medical journal. Can you tell me what the story of the medical journal is? Because that seemed to be a big thing to you.
Yeah, gladly, man, gladly. Um, so, and forgive me if I get some of these rank names wrong, especially with Surgeon General Owl in the studio audience here. But I want to say it was when you became a senior medical officer was when you were tasked with, if you wanted to earn that rank, you had to provide, I guess, something of substance to the medical corps. Um, it was essentially your thing, your practice almost. I believe it was Banshee. Banshee did some fun medical um, missions and experiences. Those stood out to me when the ones that I went on. Sirius being super into the combat medic side, that was his side of things. Um, it just had so many facets, and I was so just, I guess, I was so thirsty to create something new and unique and had never been done before. And I was thinking that all these options and all these ideas have been exhausted. And I just get the idea, like I know, Fallout 4 had the mass surgeon general hospital guide or whatever, but it was essentially, an academic medical journal. Um, I figured, okay, well there's an idea. How can I bring this into the Fallout 76, game, and how can I, you know, scale this to make it accessible for not just like, a few people in medical, but like for anybody. So Wasteland Medical Journal started with the idea of, all right, there's all these diseases in the wasteland. what would a medical journal in real life do? It would, attempt to catalog this disease, explain it, So doing the best with the game's limitations, I made it something of like a project that, you know, anyone could come and add to it. Hey, if you have information about this disease, the whoopsies, lockjaw, flap limb, something like that, come on in and throw it into the journal. Then I figured, okay, well, if I really want to make this impactful for the medical corps, maybe not just make this something that someone is going to do on their own free time, but make this a part of an activity that we can all do together. So some of the first Wasteland Medical Journal missions were actually like scavenger hunts almost, where I would split a group of 8 into 4 teams of 2, what have you, and send them across the map, have them look for diseased creatures, get diseased, tell me what the disease is, and then, all of its negative effects. And then once you do that, put it in the journal. And then now we have a catalog that anybody can access at any time. I think it's open to all ranks. If you want to go read it, yeah, please do. It's I'm not sure the last time it's been updated. I want to say shout out to Master Scribe Dare for I think doing the last Wasteland Medical Journal mission. But
Man,
yeah, it
that
was
is
fun. I mean, I'd love to get back involved with it. I know Harry's listening to this, but I'd love to get back involved with it. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean that's such a cool concept to kind of just involve everyone from all the different battalions, regardless of whatever battalion you're in, as long as you're in, the medical corps and like the group activity of that, and involving role play like that is really cool. Now let's get a little bit into gossip. Is that okay? Can we talk a little about gossip? Like,
Ooh, what's the tea? What's the tea? Is it
yeah,
piping hot or is it ice cold?
right. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some gossip. Like, I think one of the greatest things that comes with some of the positions like you have, like our last guest Streak, is that you guys have access to all of the battalion's comm channels, right? Which I imagine gives you like some awesome perspective of just like how the different battalions are, how they work. Like, so like, what is your perspective being like one of the few people who can actually communicate, living up to your title of being a chief communicator? Like, what is that like?
It's it. I mean, anybody who knows me will tell you I'm a people person, total extrovert, 100%. I don't care who you are, where you are. Like, I'll talk to you, man. And and again, going back to the medical like exams I used to do, it was so fun being like the first face, the first like role play experience that someone would get with this group. Um, that being that first interaction, it's cool. Like I can set the tone, I can set the standard, I can feel this person out and see whose vibes are cool. And it's funny. I almost have like a sixth sense when it comes to like telling like if as soon as I meet you, I can tell which battalion you're gonna go to. I can tell who you're gonna vibe with. I can tell who you're probably not gonna vibe with. I can tell like what you're gonna be. You're gonna be a knight, a scribe. You're gonna go recon. You're gonna be a lancer, something like that. And I mean, it's
So,
just it's fun meeting people, and that's the greatest part about being in not only all the battalion comms, but like the chats and whatnot. Is I get to see not only see what's going on and you know give people relevant information, but like get relevant information and stay on top of like my job and see hey what people want to do, what people want to create.
yeah,
Is
but
there is there something I can do for you? Yeah.
that's what I want to know though. Like, how can you look at someone specifically and be like, I know exactly like what battalion that you're going in, whether you're gonna be a knight or scribe, like what details of someone. It's almost like taking like not a Rorschach test, but like one of those personality tests, right? Like what?
Yeah,
How are you
yeah.
able to tell? You are a literal a personality test. How can you tell? Like, what are some dead giveaways?
I'm the VEF sorting hat. Hey, if anyone important is listening, make that happen. No, no more battalion battles or anything like that. Green Jake decides where you're going.
But yeah, what
It's
are some
just
dead tells?
I think it's a personality thing. I think within like the first few minutes of meeting someone, I have a fairly decent gauge on their personality, you know, their sense of humor, their likes, their dislikes, their background. Like I'll use an example, um like if you're like I hope not to generalize too much, but like if you're like English, like you're a young English dude who with like a funny sense of humor, you're going Legion 1,000%. You're not going anywhere else. Like
That is where you belong.
now, if you are like an innocent, sweet summer child, like like let's just say like some girl like think like Elder Streak. She's not exactly that she bucks this trend. Streak is not the kind of person you would expect to be in Legion, much less have ran it. But sometimes people slip through the cracks. They surprise you in who they are. Like Dog Mode. Dog Mode was never someone I expected to go to like Hellfire and be into this like back when like Hellfire was like this super intense. Um, like with the imagery and the hellish vibes and the chaos of it all. Then you have like Dog Mode come in, work his way through the ranks, give it some like real like structure and some punch to it. I'd say he's another one that bucked the trend too. Um, and then you have some people who are just like they are made for their role. Um, I'm not gonna blaze too hard here, but like Batman's like the perfect like leader for this group. Filatov, a great like ambassador and elder cleric in all of his roles. So, our leadership I think is pretty good for what they do. I think not just because they are who they are, but they've been here so long that this group, you know, their identity. So, eventually, you're a part of this group, but eventually you stick around long enough, this group becomes part of you.
I love that. I love that. Now, speaking of, becoming part of groups and group roles, let's dive a little bit into your role as the chief marketing officer. Now, something that a lot of people might not know about you, and something that I haven't seen a lot of people do, was that you started off as a scribe and then switched over to becoming a knight. Now, obviously, that was part of your journey to becoming a chief marketing officer, but can you tell me what exactly did that path look like for you?
Yeah. So as soon as I joined the group, met with I believe it was Enoch and Queen, and I was like, oh, these guys are great. I love the scribe side of things. Scribe department it looked a lot different back then. We still had your three orders, but the Order of the Shield um, wasn't just armor. It actually wasn't armor at all. Actually, I think Shield originally was camp building. So essentially, what our engineering corps did and defenses, and I think armor was kind of worked into it, and then it became like the sole um, focus of the order. But anyway, yeah, it was super cool. It was just a real fun time. I loved being a scribe. I climbed the ranks all the way up to a journeyman scribe. About to reach the rank of master scribe, get my officers. I just decided, I've done this for. I mean, you guys can tell I've probably got some undiagnosed ADHD in me, and part of me is always looking for like, a new challenge, the new thing to give a shot. I was like, I think, going giving the night path a shot, see what that's like. So made the tough decision to walk away from the scribe side, became a knight. Was not a knight for as long as some folks might expect. For the majority of my VEF career, I would say if I've not been in operations, it was definitely as a scribe. Was a knight for a few months. Um, Climbed the rank from what knight to senior knight, and then knight sergeant. Became a knight captain, and it was around the time that I got my knight captain, a little bit before that. You know, we noticed a huge uptick in like activity in like Discord. So we're like, okay, the higher ups decided that there needed to be a dedicated task force of people, um, focus on the smooth sailing of like the Discord server and like the members coming in and out. Because, our officers and our, at the time our training corps could only do so much in the way of like tracking when like a person joined, when they got certain exams done. So that necessitated, what was the operations division at the time. Uh, so one thing that Elder Batman specifically wanted out of operations was like a content side of things where, it's focused on like recruiting outside the game. It's focused on like content creation, like videos and pictures and propaganda that could be shared amongst the group. And so I interviewed with Batman and Streak, and they decided, thankfully, that I was the man for the job. And so that was my journey to senior marketing officer. Started as a scribe, became a knight, became a communications officer, then communications and marketing. I'll keep it brief here. Operations had a little bit of a structuring, and those kind of roles became like separate. And so as after I became like senior comms officer, I was like, all right, the next, I guess, step up is going to be something that I'm overseeing, not just like you know online, but like overseeing like the creation of content and overseeing the distribution of like information and the creation of like propaganda. So those have ended up kind of like my job is essentially overseeing, helping with four other jobs across the board right now. So I'm quite literally a jack, or rather a Jake of all trades, master of some.
I love it. I love it, man. And I mean, that's really cool. You have like a really interesting story of like the challenges that you face in order to get here. And like you also have a lot of experience in communicating with people, which leads to you recruiting people. Now, you have years of experience recruiting new people within the VEF. Do you have any advice that you would give to members trying to recruit new people?
Ugh, all right, I'm gonna get the first really obvious and cheesy, easy one out of the way. Be yourself. Like, I'd be really mad if Streak, when she recruited me, put on this like nice girl act, and then just I joined the group, and then she's like, never around, or like is like a completely different person. Streak is absolutely 1000% still the same happy-go-lucky, cheerful, happy, fun to be around person that she was when I first joined all this time ago. Fucking, there are some people like, that you just want to be around. So when interacting with someone in the wasteland and with strangers, in the game, think about who you'd like to be around. You want to be around someone who just goes up to someone, hey, you like the Brotherhood of Steel? I see you got power armor on. Brotherhood of Steel roleplay I'm in. What, pretty
Yeah.
cool or whatever. Nah, don't be lame like that. Be cool. Put some energy into it. Be that's on top of be yourself. If yourself does sound like Eeyore, give your you know, give a little bit of energy, even just 10%. It just elevates someone's mindset. It elevates someone's like attitude, and it makes them like, oh, you know what? It and this is like a real thing. Like if you're happy, studies show like the people around you are happy. So and then I guess for the final like thing about recruiting is get creative. Um, we have so many different ways now that we can recruit, and everyone will tell you that the whole area chat issue is like the worst thing for recruiting because you have to get up in someone's face, even if just to hear them, and oh, it's such a pain. Yeah, I totally get it. I totally agree. It's such a freaking pain, but it's just another challenge. It's just another hurdle for us to overcome. So how can we overcome it? Well, one thing I did back when I was a communications officer and we had this area chat issue was I hosted a recruitment sign contest. Like a sign, you go into your camp, make a sign, join VEF, got Discord, 100 plus members, so things to that effect. And people got really creative with the things that they made. And I think it was Twerk said like got grannies, join the VEF, just something like that. Oh,
That
I'm gonna have to dig into the photo archives, and I encourage everyone listening to do so too. Want to see some fun signs, but yeah, just be yourself, have energy, be cool, get creative.
be creative.
That's if you want to get cool and awesome people in VF, that's how you do it.
Beautiful. So just be creative. I love it. I love it. Now we're going ahead and getting ready for our last section of this, which is our Q&A section. So if you have
Damn,
any
already?
questions, already, man.
That's
So
my question. Damn it, already.
so
I'm
if you
having
have,
fun, man. I could be here for another hour.
I love it. I love it. So if you have any questions, go ahead and write in on the YouTube or write in our channel that we have going on right
Yeah.
now, and then we'll ask these questions. But before we do that, let's have one more question that I have for you, which is Jake, what is it that you love the most about your job?
Oh, what? Real life job or? Nah, I'm kidding. Um, a real life job, the best thing about is getting home every day. Um, no, my VEF job. Give me a sec to think. Give me a sec to think.
Well,
I think it's the creativity of it. I think it's the fact that I'm not necessarily bound by any like label of, like night scribe, patrol, mission, thing like that. Um, if I do run an event, it's something like out of the box. Like it's like a freaking drinking patrol where we go and do karaoke. It's not a sanctioned, patrol or anything by any means, but I have the opportunity to like, host these social events and I get to like stream things. Oh, that's something I hope we get to touch on in Q&A is like the Hunger Games. Um, like that's something no one else, I wouldn't say gets to do because there are absolutely people in this group that stream and get to do things. Cough, cough, D man. That gets to do like something that's unique, but it's maybe not so much as they can't or won't do it. It's just that they don't. And I think if my creativity and my the things that I do in this group, whether it's streams or creating propaganda or filming or taking photos, whatever, if the thing that I do and create inspires someone to do the same thing, to create, then I will have considered it a success. And so when I see people wanting to like host unique events, like pardon me, it's this guy I have not talked to in a long time, but he's hosting an event. It's like VEF beat Shazam or something. I thought that was the coolest and like funniest thing, just because I like that show sometimes. It's mindless, but it's like that is such a funny, like unique thing that like as soon as I read that in the events tab, my mind went crazy with events with like things like ways I would host something like that or how I would do something like that. So I'm like, and even though obviously I didn't directly inspire stuff like that, when I see other people being creative and doing just like off the wall, something like new and exciting kind of stuff, I love that. And that is the best part of my job is seeing like overseeing what is created and then seeing what becomes of that.
100%. Man, I love that answer. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started in our last segment of this show, which is our Q&A. let's go
Yeah,
over to
yeah.
seeing what everyone has to say. So this first one is from Streak. Streak in the audience. How's it going, Streak? Streak asks, "What is a Streak's angel?"
Oh, great freaking question. Okay. Um, yeah, this is something I didn't touch on, but it was a very clandestine organization. And by that I mean um when Streak first became um the general role basically involved Batman dumping everything he didn't want to do onto Elder Streak or General Streak, poor thing. So she works a full-time job and she's a nurse, and so she's like got so much on her plate already. She needed a general's task force. And my God, probably even since like the second month of me being in the group, she was asking people, and specifically me, to be like a secretary. And she still does to this day. I'm like, you have a full operations division that is your secretary. What are you asking for a secretary? But so yeah, she wanted to establish a general's task force. Try saying that 10 times fast. And I couldn't tell you exactly who was in it, but I want to say it was like Owl, Grotti, Mysterious, myself, maybe say Caesar. I don't think that's right. Um,
But
Thorn
basically
too.
it's a
Yeah,
task
yeah.
force. Yeah.
Names aren't important. It was a precursor to the operations division because she had that idea and then realized, oh, it's a bunch of goobers helping me out. So she wanted to polish it up a little bit and make it more role play friendly. So Streaks Angels officially doesn't exist anymore, but we're all there in spirit. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. And very, very much so like Streak, so I get it. This next one, also from Streak. What keeps you here in the VEF?
Streak promised me $500 if I did this interview and quit the group immediately after. So yeah, that's it. All right, bye. I'm just kidding. Um, what keeps me coming back? What keeps me checking this Discord every day? Uh, I know I've said it a billion times, but the people, I'm always just so curious to see what everyone's up to and what everyone's doing. I'm not always in the game. Obviously, I've got a full-time job. I work for a utility company, and sometimes that can be like long hours and what. Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do what I do, but it's taken away some of the time that I would have otherwise spent in game or on disc. So while I'm nowhere near as active as I used to be, um, it's really just every one of you, people that are listening, people that aren't listening. It's all y'all that are coming back. I love meeting new people, making new friends, getting to experience a game like this because with all of you people because let's get a little deep here. We get one life. This is the last time you're ever going to hear my voice saying these words on this show, and maybe that means nothing. Maybe it'll mean something. uh no, we got one life, and you got to spend it with the people that you enjoy, and you got to do the things you. And this group, gives me creativity and creative freedom, and the opportunity to express my creativity, and it gives me a bunch of awesome ass people. So that's what keeps me coming back.
I love it. This next one is from Surgeon General Owl, who asks, "Can you quickly tell your Australia story?" Can you do that in like 30 seconds?
Whitey. Emily, should I tell the Australia story? I think she's asleep, but she would definitely say yes. I'm so freaking like exposing myself.
You don't have to. You don't have to by any
No,
means.
no, no. It's one of those embarrassing high school stories. So back in the back in the day when I was in high school, I took a school trip to Europe, and um, little bit of backstory. I was in band in high school. This organization took kids from like, some of the best bands in the Texas high school music scene and said like, hey, we want you to come and perform over in Europe. You know, it was a opportunity of a lifetime. Peak of my life. It was great. And while on this trip, I meet a nice girl. I'm not, I won't say names, but she knows who she is. It's not Emily, by the way. She, her and I got drunk one night, and you guys know I have a little bit of a Texas twang, but um, drunk her couldn't quite place it. So I'm like, oh, ha ha, why not tell a little funny white lie? Oh, yeah. That's one thing I don't think I will do on stream. I don't think I'm going to do the accent. If I do, you're lucky. Um,
Jeez.
and I told her I was Australian, man. And to be creative is to have to lie or embellish the truth sometimes. So fucking she was like, okay, well, you're from Australia. Why don't you like talk with the accent all the time? And I'm like, oh, well, it's because you a lot of Yanks just bother me so much about how I sound, and you're always asking questions about, oh my God, where are you from? You from Australia? I love Australian guys. And I just told her, oh, it annoys me. Like, so I talk with an American accent, and I'm like, I've lived here for like 10 years and just made up this whole fucking like little bullshit story that she just, ate hook, line, and sinker. Do I feel bad? Yeah, I did. Not anymore. Fucking,
Jeez. So okay, so
and
that
it
was
was, oh,
that.
oh, oh, oh. I wanna drag this one out.
Oh, geez, sorry.
Um, Sorry, not sorry. I was on this trip with several people from my high school who knew and who like the best freaking dudes that they were kept their traps shut the whole fucking trip. Like didn't say shit, didn't question it. They knew like when I'm around her, all right, whatever. Jake's Australian now. Let's just roll with it. And it never it never ever had any negative repercussions on my life whatsoever. We broke up, and she probably still to this day remembers the time that she met an Australian dude in Europe and dated him. Came back home to Texas and dated him.
Well, that's funny that you say that because if you just look right behind you from the audience, I'm just kidding. She's not there. That would be hilarious. We're not doing that.
God,
All right.
oh my God.
So, with that said, we have two questions left. I'm going to get through these quick because we're already going over time. This one is from Machina, who says, what can people do to get their own personal promotional material made for events, corps, battalions, VOS, or even just general use?
All right, nice little shameless plug here, but you can go to Discord and type into the channel to the search bar, look up marketing requests. So if you are a senior knight and above, you have the ability to request from one of our amazing propaganda specialists a poster or a picture, a video, anything that you think that our propaganda folks could help you with. If you want to create like a flyer for your very first patrol as a night sergeant, or you want to create something for like a Draconum officers night or a warlords get together, get with one of our awesome propaganda specialists. Don't forget to tag at propaganda specialist when you make your request, so you'll ping the attract the eyes of one of our awesome propaganda specialists, and we'll see what we can do for you. We're hard at work with a lot of things. Sometimes our plates can get full, but we always try to make time for those requests that our members have.
Beautiful. I love it. And so, Green Jake, I think that'll do it for us today. I'd like to thank
Oh,
our
you said you
special.
had one more question.
That was a
Oh, I'm
question.
having too much
Yeah, we'll
fun.
do it for us today. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to our special guest, Green Jake, for coming in today. Thank you so much, Green Jake. I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, thank you for putting this on, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to direct a couple episodes, and here's to many more. Cheers. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for watching in the chat, in our live studio audience, and Discord right now. You guys are all so awesome. Can't wait to say thank you, guys. All right. Ad Victorium, y'all.
Ad Victorium. Oh, and one more thing, Great
Oh,
Jake.
I remember. I remember.
One more thing. Also wanted to reward you with the game show neon
Yeah,
sign
yeah.
to show that you've been the best there is. So once again, I'm D-Man Caramel, the best there is, signing off.
Peace. Boom. Gonna go perfect in my cyberpunk camps.
They can still hear you.
Perfect. I get more time to yap. All right, now that the cameras aren't rolling, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you,
Oh, God.
fuck you.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
God.
I'm kidding. Hey, it's Vanna White.